Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Locker Room 411. This is the HJCAC, and today I am joined by the head coach of the Papago Pumas, William Strother. Coach, how you been?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We are very glad you took the time out of your, I'm going to say your busy schedule to share a little bit about yourself, the team, and just really everything that's going on. First thing I'll ask is, how's it feel to be a head coach?
Well, it's always been my goal to be a head coach, to work to get there. You always want to work in the rankings to work yourself up. In fortunate situations, the way that leadership change had came about, I was working for a good friend of mine, and, the changes that came wasn't the way that, I wanted to become a head coach, but just trying to make sure I step in and still be that positive role for guys, it was something that I took on.
Absolutely, and we'll touch on it briefly. Taking over for a friend, as you said, that's probably not the way you wanted a head coaching position, but was it awkward? You guys are still boys, I'm sure of that. How different is that?
Well, it's not different. It's because you got good support from him.
Okay.
He's a good friend of mine, and even tweeted out, after the first victory, just sending that love and that congratulations. So when you have good ties like that with good people, they never look at it as it's a negative thing. They only look at it as how we continue to help players.
The last couple of years you've been with the Papago Pumas, so this was an elevation. You guys win. You guys win. In general steps, tell us about kind of the philosophy and some of the key ingredients that have resulted in more W's than losses.
Well, it starts with the staff first. We've got a great staff in place, and then we always preach development. Okay. And then after development, we preach, relationship, scholarship, championship, relationship, scholarship, championship. You find those different dynamics inside your program, and then you actually push them over into your kids. So we got a great strength and conditioning coach in Coach Hill, our offensive coordinator, Coach Mark. They put in excellent work just getting the team prepared. I've been running the DC, for the last 3 years here. I always preach, outwork. So it's, how do you outwork how do you outwork your opponent? If you're doing 10 push-ups, you need to do 11. If they're running 1 mile, you need to run 1.0 mile.
I like that.
It's about outworking them and not trying to work hard, because if you're working hard, it means you're equal. But
I hear you. Wow.
But if you're outworking them, you're going above and beyond.
Defense wins championships. You've been on that side of the ball. Take us through your defensive mentality. I mean, you definitely shared about the outworking, but what is it about defense more than offense? Offense puts people in the seats, but defense helps you get the ring.
Well, defense is just discipline. You got to remain disciplined and do your job within your skills. We want to fly around, play fast, play physical. We want to make sure that we're doing our job. We want to make sure that when we're up against an opponent, what they do best, we don't want to take away. We want to show what we do best and what we bring into what we do best. Yeah, we will practice, the plays that, every team is a creature of habit. Their plays that they want to run, but we also want to play our game, and our game is to make sure that, we're doing our job. We're playing fast. We're playing physical.
To be the best, you have to beat the best. And you guys opened up the season not only against the top team in the country, but you went on the road and took on New Mexico Military Institute. I'll say the first thing, when I was doing some research for the league and the games and kind of getting a good grasp, and I'm reading the article, and it said New Mexico Military Institute looking to defend their champ. It's like, wait, I did not realize that they were the whole enchilada.
Yes.
How was that road trip, and what did it mean to your team?
Well, playing a team like NIMI, it gets excitement for the guys because then you get the measure stick of saying, okay, where are we at? Can we play with a team like this, a team that's ran through the rankings as the number one? Our guys got real excited about the game, and we came, the weeks up to practice, the summer camps, the energy, the effort, all those different levels to say, hey, these guys are getting top-tier offers. These guys are getting the D1s, the Power 5s, the FCS. Let's put yourself on that measure to measure yourself and see, can you compete with these guys? And getting a game like NIMI is just out of the gate. It's really well to help our guys get that film and say, hey, yes, coach, when they want to send their film out to these universities, this is the success I had against a number one ranked JUCO.
From we'll say a bonding experience, what was it like for that game for some of your kids or most of your kids? Because, yes, in high school, a lot of games are just on Friday night. You go and come. Even right now, you go across town and you come back. But crossing state lines, different atmosphere, playing guys who you won't play against anymore this year. What was that team chemistry? And like you said, it was a lot of buildup.
Yeah, it was a lot of. The team chemistry was great. First, it started from the veteran leadership. The veterans knew they played that game previously before. So they stepped in and knowing what the expectation was. So the new guys that came in, they only heard of, this is NIMI number one JUCO, but they never really went head-to-head. Okay. And the veteran guys came in, talked, hey, we need to focus in. We need to make sure that, we're locked, do our job, because NIMI's going to be a disciplined team in which they are extremely disciplined in every asset of the game, all phases, special teams, offense, defense. NIMI is extremely disciplined. So that veteran leadership actually helped out a whole lot to help bond our guys together because they were just preparing them for what they need to expect.
We're catching up with William Strother. He is the head coach of the Papago Pumas. Coach, I will ask you, we can start to talk about some of the individual players because it's all about the kids. It truly is. I'm going to let you lead some of the conversation, but in this case, I'd love to start with the quarterback, Jaden Cunningham. Tell us a little bit about what he brings to the table and what he might need to do to get to the next level.
Okay, yeah. So Jaden Cunningham is a bounce back from Youngstown State quarterback. Phenomenal player. This guy can really go. He can spin the ball. He's got fresh. It seems like he's got fresh legs all the time. He runs. He can escape pressure. He is a true leader on this team. He's always calm. He's always collective. He's always trying to lead guys into the right direction. He's always got something positive to say. We just absolutely love him. Everybody has seen the film. They can see what kind of talent he really has. He has top-notch talent. And when he steps onto the field, we have all the utmost, faith, and he's going to get the job done. And he has the utmost faith in himself, so that we love that about Jaden.
That's outstanding. And one of his favorite targets early on, Jacoby Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
Tell us about him, and it looks like he's got some explosiveness.
Well, Jacoby Dinwiddie hasn't seen the field yet as right now, but that's actually Terrence Stevens. So
the numbers on the roster. Okay,
numbers on the roster.
Gotcha.
Sorry about that. Well, just because we've had to replace some jerseys, but Terrence Stevens, he's a second-year guy for us. He's came in, and he took on the challenge. I want to be the number one receiver. I want to be the best. I want to work hard, and you just saw his development over the summer. And then you just saw his character, his attitude to where he wanted to take that role on. And he's not a selfish player. He's stepped up and, he tweets out things, if I don't get the ball, I just want to see my teammates get the ball.
Nice.
His development towards this team has been refreshing. And just to see him actually take that next step to the next level, it's incredible.
I'm glad you mentioned just from a roster standpoint because that's why we do shows like this because you see a jersey and I'm thinking it's one guy, but you know who it is and you were able to let us know who that is and what his skill set is.
Yeah.
One guy who I don't think I have the number wrong is number one.
Right. Number one is Devin Miles, and you're talking about a game changer. He is a game changer no matter when he touches the ball. If he touches the ball, he has the ability to take it the distance, or he's going to get 5, 10 yards. The kid, when he takes this game to the next level, you're like, wow, I can't believe we got this kid into our program. Wow. He's an amazing kid. I love having him. I think everybody should keep an eye on him because he's going to be playing big-time football somewhere here. Every game you're going to just hear Devin Miles, number one. He should be one of the top players in this conference.
That's outstanding to hear. That is very outstanding to hear. As we're talking to William Strother, he is the head coach of the Papago Pumas. And, Coach, tell us kind of the day-to-day routine of your players. When is practice? Because I know there's a couple teams that practice early in the morning. Mm-hmm. There's another team that practices basically from 3 to 6. Where do you guys fit in, and how do you work your day-to-day and weekend over the course of the week routine?
Okay. So, yeah, let me just start with Saturday.
Game day.
Game day. So we get our guys up at 9 a.m. We have an early morning walkthrough because we want to get their minds fresh, make sure their bodies are fresh. Don't let them sit around, lay down all day. So we have a 9 a.m. walkthrough, so it's about an hour. Sunday is film day, so we either do film in person or do film on Zoom. Monday is study hall, so we'll have a 5 to 7 study hall session. Then we'll go outside, we'll get on the field, we'll get the legs working, get the conditioning in, go from 7 to 7:30. Tuesday, we got a lifting in from 4:30 to 5:15. We're on the field by 5:30. We're on the field by 5:30 to go to 7:30. So we do that Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's
the bulk of it.
That's the bulk of it.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's our bulk of it, and that's how that's pretty much our schedule for the week. And then Thursday, Thursday is more of just, our practice where we just want to clean and refine things.
Outstanding. As again, we're talking with William Strother, the head coach of the Papago Pumas, but we want to introduce a couple of products as we have Amped Tri-Release Protein. It blends 3 protein types to develop lean muscle and enhance strength. Then we also have Amped BCAA Plus. It fuels muscles with key amino acids during your workout. And, of course, we have Amped Repair, helps reduce soreness and rebuild muscles to improve recovery. And we talked about it as you kind of were explaining, you guys lift. And I will definitely say Isagenix, certainly the way to go. If you want to know more, text 602-370-8241 and text Mustangs. That is your promo code, 602-370-8241, promo code Mustangs. And, Coach, yes, you have a very detailed week. Organization is key. Tell us about some of the members of your staff, because you've heard the term, it takes a village. Mm-hmm. It truly does for a coaching staff.
Yeah. Well, let's just start with the OC. Coach Mark, what I love about Coach Mark is, he really loves the game, and he wants to get his guys in the right position, get his players the ball. He studies the game very well. He makes sure that he comes prepared every week, and you got to have an OC like that. He also demands, as I do, demands that everybody be in the right position at the right time. Coach Hill, we call him Coach Terminator. You got to have a Coach Hill on your staff. He's just one of those no-nonsense kind of coaches, that you're late, you run, you mess up in practice, you're rolling. And guys know that they don't want to see Coach Terminator, because if you see Coach Terminator, you're going to feel it in your body the next day. We got a good quarterback, Coach Warner. Coach Warner is very technical at his skills, ex-military guy, so he pays attention to the details.
Sure.
Coach Kraft is on the staff now. Coach Kraft has been, real enlightening to the staff of the O-line, just, showing them the basics, making sure that, the blocking scheme is there. Coach Ray has come to us. He's in his second year with us. He works with our DBs. And, what I love about Coach Ray is, he's a player's coach. He's a player's coach, and the players love him. They love to be around him, and they really listen to the things that he's trying to teach. And I watch him over there, and I'm just like, as a defense coordinator, I didn't know that. That's very interesting. So he's actually helped me, learn some things of what a DB should be, their feet work, what they should be looking at, their alignment, their assignment. So I love how detailed those guys are. So I got a great staff, and I'm lucky to have these guys, because, these guys take time out of their personal time to be here, to coach up. And the number one thing, if you're doing that, that means you love football.
Absolutely. No, I think that is great and well said. Sounds like you are truly surrounded by men who love the game and their players, that's for sure. One player who you absolutely love and apparently Knox College loves, Harley Scott. Tell us about him.
Yeah, Harley Scott, Perry High graduate, came to us this season, and, we love this kid. Very disciplined, very sound, plays physical, is very coachable. He's getting a lot of looks from different levels. He does have the one offer, but trust me, there's going to be a lot more coming for the kid. But when you watch his game, he plays the game very fast, and he gives a lot of tackles, a lot of problems. He is a problem to have. We're blessed to have him on our side because we know that he was being recruited by multiple teams in his conference. But, he chose us. He felt comfortable choosing us as, the team that he wanted to play for. And we've got him, and it's been unbelievable just to see him grow and, again, develop as a player. Those are the tools we want to help you develop. And his development has been very incredible to where you're going to see this guy play at the next level.
I like that you guys are truly about developing players. Of course, you want as much of a finished product as possible when they get to you, but you guys are rolling up your sleeves. You guys are instructing, showing, hey, what to do, what not to do. And when you guys do that properly, the wins will come.
Yes.
That's for sure. You got a couple other guys who you mentioned to me that also have potential D1 talent.
Yeah. Let me touch on Corey Floyd. Corey Floyd came to us from D2, Gannon College out of, I think it's Pennsylvania.
Okay.
He's in his second year. Incredible talent. Anybody throughout this league knows that you fear number 11. Number 11 is coming off the edge. Number 11 is going to make a play. You fear 11 because he, on the defensive side of the ball, is extreme.
Micah Parsons wears 11 also.
I love that reference.
Yes.
I mean, we could call him Parsons Jr. But, his grades are phenomenal. He's in his academics. I mean, he's probably sitting at a 3.5 GPA.
Nice, real nice.
When coaches contact, I have no fear in saying, yeah, his transcripts are ready and available. One thing you can count on him, Mr. Corey Floyd, is every play he's going 100 miles an hour. He doesn't take plays off. He makes sure that he's in position. He's a vocal leader. He wants to be the guy that, helps the defense, get other guys ready. Corey Floyd will be a big-time football player on Saturdays, and I see the guy as a big-time football player on Sundays.
Wow, that's awesome. And throw in one more defensive guy. And there's a lot, and we don't want you to leave anybody out, but if you had one more defensive guy who you wanted to highlight today, who would that be? I
would like to highlight Shamar Alexander, because, he came to us from Ottawa out here in Arizona. He's a local Arizona kid. Came to us from Ottawa, and you're talking about a safety that's ready to fill, and he's ready to fill in that box. He's had some amazing hits, some amazing come-ups from that safety position to where you got to rely on safeties to make those tackles. And once we seen that he can come up and make those tackles, we were like, oh, we're going to do great in the back end and that secondary half. He's just a kid he's a lunch pail. Comes in, clocks into work, does what he said needs to do. Is a yes sir, no sir to the coach.
Wow, that's good.
Not a problem. Then and once he clocks in, he does the work, and then he clocks out, goes home. He's on top of his grades. It's another kid I would love to spotlight.
Sure.
This is a kid that can play top level football.
Wow, that's definitely good stuff. You have a lot of talent that's showing on the field. You guys picked up a W on the road last week. It came with a cost, though, and that was painful to see. Tell us what happened to one of your safeties.
So, unfortunately, we lost Nashawn Ricks to a broken tibia and fibula. But let's just talk about the character of Nashawn
Sure,
Ricks.
Absolutely.
His character was always fly around. He flew to the ball. He played hard. He, again, yes or no sir, coach. He wanted to learn. He absorbed the game very well, and that's why he was in a position to start.
Sure.
It was just an unfortunate event that happened, and the good thing about it at the end was, first of all, I see my players emotional about it. That's how much we've built good relationships. Most people can move on to the next play and say, hey, it wasn't me. But our guys rallied around. They didn't want to leave his side. They wanted to make sure that you could see the tears in their eyes that, one of their brothers had fallen into an injury that none of us want to see.
Sure.
And then secondly, I want to take my hat off to the Salt River Scorpions and their team. We all came together and we made a big prayer. Larry Davis is an amazing leader of young men. I appreciate, them allowing us to all come together and say that big prayer. It could have just been an easy handshake and walk off the field, but to show that kind of class, that kind of compassion for the opponent, I do nothing but take my hat off to the Scorpions and Coach Larry Davis.
And it's a team that you came back and defeated. Kind of tell us about the, I don't necessarily want to say the comeback win, but walk us through that game and what went right for you guys.
Well, out the gate, it was our guys were coming off an emotional week, change the leadership. You got to get your minds right. We started out the first couple drives not too well. We were penalties, heavily penalties. And then, had to just come in and just talk to our guys and say, hey, look, understand that, you guys trying to get your head in the game. Change leadership. There's been adversity thrown at you all week. We've played this game before. We've done the things that we need to do. We've practiced hard. Let's go back to the basics. Let's just finish. Let's make it one play, one drive. One play, one drive. We started to chip away. And we just kept saying, hey, stay to the game plan, stay to the focus, one play, one drive. And at the end, it came in our favor. And
sure.
That's just, with a great coaching staff and players just wanting to just, take that coaching and understand what they have to do, we were able to win that game.
You've been around this game for a long time, Coach Strother. Briefly share your path with us from Evansville, Indiana, to Chandler, Arizona, via New Mexico and a couple other stops.
Yeah, so born and raised in Evansville, Indiana. Out of high school, I'm similar to a lot of the kids we coach or playing in this league. I didn't have any offers, coming out of high school. So, I was actually going to be working at a gas station to where one of my good friends was going to play JUCO ball, and I just happened to run into him, and I was like, hey, could you put a word out? They put the word out. They said, yeah, come. So, I just left on a Greyhound bus, went to California, played JUCO football. Went from there, I became a first-team all-conference linebacker. Then I became a California All-American. Got a D1 scholarship to University of New Mexico.
Lobos.
Yeah, Lobos. Went to New Mexico Lobos, became a defensive player, the newcomer of the year. And then I'm a two-time team defensive player of the year for Lobos. Went to the NFL Combine, and then went to the NFL with the Redskins, the Dolphins, and the Saints. So I'm the journey that guys that are playing in this league want to go. And so everybody, so when I speak to kids, I'm like, hey, I've lived your experience.
Absolutely.
It could happen. And then, so lived in New Mexico, met my beautiful wife, my kids. And then, with employment, I was able to transfer out here to Arizona, to which when, I had been coaching back in New Mexico, just coaching, some of my son's teams and other. Okay. And then Coach Payne, he reached out and was like, hey, I would like for you to be a part of this. I'm going to grow this.
That's awesome. So,
I did have to speak to my wife about it because it's a commitment.
Yes, it is.
But spoke to my wife. My wife gave me the check, the yes to make that commitment. And so now I've been with Papago for 3 seasons now, and it's just been an incredible journey.
And your team has played very incredible. Tell us about your ideal roster from a makeup scenario, meaning would you love to have 75% Arizona kids, 50-50, two-thirds? Where does it fit in roughly?
Yeah, so let me touch on, because this is what the HJCAC is about, making sure Arizona kids stay here in Arizona to be able to play Arizona football and get recruited out. So, yes, for me and my roster, I would love to be at least 65-35, more 65. And that's about 100. If I had 100 kids, I would like for them to be 65 from Arizona and then 35, from either out of state or so. Because the idea is to make sure those guys get their looks. We're home growing this conference. We're making sure that we do right by Arizona kids so that they can still keep cost effective, be around family, have the support that they need when they walk into college to be able to earn that 4-year scholarship.
Road game for you this week at Gila River. I don't think you have played them yet this year. What's your initial thoughts? Because Mike Denny's team usually is coached pretty well.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about an incredible team that, these guys get open. They play sound football on both sides of the ball. They're able to make plays. They're able to put up points. They've got a great defense that causes turnovers and makes stops. So in order for us to walk into this game, we have to make sure that we have a great week of practice, that we're matching their intensity level because they were the two-time champions before we became the reigning champions last year. So they have a goal. they want to get back to being that championship team and, well coached. You got to give it to those guys over there. They've been able to establish a great squad and get some great players in there. So in order for us to be able to go in on a road game, we're going to have to play some very sound and disciplined football.
Coach Strother, thank you so much for being here. We definitely want to thank our sponsor, as always, Amped Try Release. I got to get it right. There we go. It's sometimes I'm challenged of where the camera is, but Amped Try Release protein blends 3 protein types to develop lean muscle and enhance strength. We also want to thank Dynamic Video Solutions for putting all of this together. Without Dynamic Video Solutions, there really wouldn't be an HJCAC Locker Room 411. I'm Brett Quintyne. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.